Game begin.
Okay, I guess it's up with the next game. It's Westwood Shadows by RedSoup Studio. Westwood Shadows Prologue is a first-person puzzle-solving horror game. A police detective named Peter Bennett returns to his abandoned hometown where he must confront his past and an unsolved case draped in shadows. Let's watch a trailer.
Nice.
Hey, I'm Eleftherios and I'm from RedSoup, a new gaming studio based in Cyprus. Our game, Westwood Shadows, is a first-person horror puzzle adventure that tells the story of Peter Bennett, a police detective who goes back to his abandoned hometown in order to investigate a domestic disturbance call. His visit takes him back to an old case involving a shady pharmaceutical company that he believes to be connected to the death of his family. Besides puzzle solving and riddles, the game features mechanics like stealth and resource management. We want a balanced experience of horror, mystery, exploration, and action. You will get to solve puzzles in the abandoned city of Westwood, while searching for clues and fighting the shadows. Dark secrets from the past will bring new perspective, while terrifying enemies will try to stop you. We make our own fears in Westwood. See you in Westwood Shadows.
Thank you so much. And now we have Eleftherios with us. I hope I pronounced
Hello.
your name
Hello.
right. Hi. Good to have you here. And are you ready for your pitch?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for having us here. All right. My name is Eleftherios Kokkinakis, and I am the lead developer of Westwood Shadows. We are RedSoup. We are currently in Cyprus. Westwood Shadows is a first-person survival horror adventure game that introduces Peter Bennett, a police detective who goes back to his old abandoned town of Westwood in order to investigate a police a disturbance call, and he ends up researching an old case from a pharmaceutical company that he seems to believe is responsible for his family's death. The game is story-oriented, and it has story-based puzzles, which means you solve puzzles, you get to progress with the story, and you get to know what happens with Peter Bennett. You get to fight the shadows of Westwood, which is the shadows of Peter, the shadows of his past, in order to progress with the story as well. The game features mechanics like resource management. I'm sorry about introducing mechanics to this pitch. We have boss fights in the game, and at the end, the player will have to make a choice, which will lead to multiple endings. The main goal of the game is to balance horror, puzzles, fighting, and exploration in a way that you don't have more from one and less from the other. And in order to have an optimal puzzle difficulty, we're testing out all the possible options, and we have different puzzles already in the prologue, which is available right now. And we're getting feedback from the players. We're aiming to have a user-friendly game, which means that we want the players to know what they have to do in order to progress with the story, understand how to use the tools and weapons, and have no misunderstanding about anything UI related or game related. The story of Westwood, it goes very deep to the past of Peter Bennett, and we get to understand what happened. And this is introduced to the player through the gameplay, the environment, the animated cutscenes. And the player has the option to approach the game in different ways, meaning you can go out stealthily if you want to avoid any kind of fights, or you can choose to go out there and just eliminate all your enemies. Right now, the video, the image, and audio quality feedback we get from the players is good, and we want to keep it as high as possible until the release of the game. and we're aiming to have 10 hours of gameplay for the game. We are currently also on Kickstarter, and we're trying to get it to the end and succeed the founding goal, which will enable the studio to expand the game of Westwood and get more developers and professionals to work on the game. By January, we'll have the AI system and fighting mechanics complete, and in the month, we'll have coding and design ready, which means by March or April, we can start beta testing. We are planning on keeping beta testing period for about a month. And by May 2022, we're planning to release the game on for PC, on Steam and other platforms, and on GOG. Right now, as I said, we have the prologue available for the players. We're trying to engage communication with the players. We're encouraging everybody to get in contact with us. We are having discussions on our Discord server and on the Steam community page, and we are trying to get people to the players to send us feedback, and so we can make the game an even better experience. I think that's all for the presentation for now. Thank you very much, and I have a last slide. Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you so much, Eleftherios.
Thank you.
That was a great pitch. Now back to the jury feedback.
Thank you so much for the pitch, and I have so many questions, and I don't know how much time I have, but I'll start with the business side first, because I am not quite, I don't think that I understood from your pitch much of what is your actual plan when it comes to, because the market of the horror games is actually really tough. And what I got from your pitch, you have quite many different mechanics there, and yet you're also heading to multiple endings, as also meaning branching kind of stories and whatnot. Like a lot of different things is introduced, but the business side of things. So what is actually unique and different compared to other horror games, which are giants out there, like Resident Evil, Silent Hill, or if not even different, what is actually compelling then to those players? Because there's a huge horror games player base out there. Me included. I mean, I'm guilty as charged. But I just want to hear what is special about this particular game compared to other.
All right. Okay. Well, there are so many other good horror games out there, and each one of them is unique in its own way. Some of them have this amazing story, and some of them have some really nice mechanics that stick to the player, and it's very fun to play until the end of the game. We are aiming on mostly the story of Peter Bennett, and we want to tell the story in a way that it will be easy to understand, and it will be fun to play the game throughout the whole experience of the game. Which means that the thing that will be different in a way is the story itself that is unique, and we're hoping to engage the player and have them understand the background and the struggle of emotions for Peter Bennett, at the same time as going through the fighting of all the shadows from his past and the enemies of the game.
I mean, sorry to I'm working on a narrative-driven games, and this is I know the challenge of creating this type of, especially as you said, multiple aspects of the story to be given, but also with the horror game, one thing it's very challenging, and that is any replayability of the horror game. How are you tackling that design challenge? Just to because that might be the unique selling point, especially if you're discussing with the publishers and so on. So what is your take on that?
Sure. This is Westwood Shadows is our very first game. The studio is brand new. we focus on making a very good gaming experience, and we are not focusing as much on replayability right now, even though we have some features that will enable the game to be played again, like one of the multiple endings can be played only if you play the game again. So there are ways and there are mechanics that will be unlocked after the completion of the game. So if the player wants to get into Westwood again and fight the shadows with the mechanics already unlocked, and in order to achieve this final hidden ending that he will then know how to do, they can do it. But currently, we're not focusing as much on having multiple endings as much as we do on having a game that is balanced and it is fun to play and is easy to understand and follow.
I fully agree, and that's why I'm saying it's very challenging to do that. There is no, especially horror. Once you played it through, it's very hard to get that. There will be, you know where to expect what, especially with kind of like it's not anymore as effective as first time playing. So that's why I would recommend also to skip that and just focus on other things, as you said. But yeah, thank you for your
Thank you.
answers.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for the feedback. Are there any more questions? Nope. Okay, then bye.
Well, thank you very much.
Hopefully
Yes.
see you later.